Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Money Mama Talks. Today I'm here with Stine Kinck, my dear friend. Hi.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hi. I'm good. I'm a little sweaty, but I'm good.
Yeah, it's very humid right now, right?
It's humid.
It's very humid. Can you give a little rundown about what you do, who you are? What's your story?
My story. I am based in Copenhagen, independent artist, owner of my own record label called Sad Unicorn Records, songwriter, and kind of a jack of all trades because I am usually working with really low budgets, so I have a lot of new skill sets that I acquired because I needed to. So sometimes I do graphic design, sometimes I do PR. I'm starting a t-shirt collection for my label, Sad Unicorn Records. So a lot of different things.
And have you always been independent, or is this something that you grew into as the tides changed?
I have not always been independent, but I think I started very early in the music industry. I started singing backup when I was 14 and went on a pretty big tour here in Denmark with a band called Savage Rose, which is an amazing band. So I was very lucky to get a very amazing introduction into the whole music world. But I got signed to bigger labels a couple of times. First time when I was 17, I joined a pop group that already existed called Los Umbrellas. And it was like they had a really big hit called No Tengo Dinero, which was like Spanglish. It was a horrible like 90s concept band, but it was really funny. So I got signed to a big label then, and then I got signed to a bigger indie label when I was 25. When I got back I lived in New York for a couple of years, and I came back to Denmark, and I wrote a couple of songs in Danish, and then I got a record deal. And then since then, I've been independent, but collaborating with bigger labels. Sometimes I do house and EDM stuff, and then I sign one song out to a bigger label, but everything in my own little world is independent now.
Amazing. And what is included in that? How many steps goes into being an independent artist these days?
It's really, it's a lot of steps. I think if you want to do it right, I have this talk with other artists who are trying. Sometimes I get calls from other artists because they know I've been doing this for a while. And one of the things I always say is that if you do it yourself, make sure you try to do it at least as good as one of the labels that you would want to get on. Because I know sometimes it's definitely easier for us to release music on our own because you don't have to get yes from an A&R who might not understand your sound or whatever it is. But I think it's very important to know that if you do it, you gotta take the business side as serious as you do the creative side. So my thing is always like, if you do it and you don't have a big budget, make sure you know how to brand yourself. Make sure you know that you don't skip some of the steps that the labels do. Do the PR, figure out where the song belongs on the playlist, like do all the footwork to make sure that it actually it might not get the same opportunity because some of the big labels own a lot of the playlists and all this stuff, but you can definitely make shit happen if you think like a big label when you do your releases, you know.
What are some of the cons of working with a big label? Like, why would somebody maybe prefer to be independent instead of signing with someone?
I think control is probably the biggest issue. And of course, you get to keep more of the money if you do make any. But for me, I think what is really hard being independent is that the big labels kind of work like a bank. And what is easy when you're signed to a big label is that they will usually finance your promotion, your PR, maybe a music video, all this stuff. Of course, you have to, they recoup everything, so you have to pay them back. It's not free money. But what is really hard being independent is trying to get everything collected in a good quality. If you want to make a good video and you don't have money, you want to get the artwork, you want to hire good photographers. It's really, 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 really hard to do when you don't have the budget of a big label. Then you have to be creative with it. You have to network. You have to trade. I trade a lot of like whatever I can do. I trade with people to make shit happen that I can't pay for. And but I think when you're on a big label, like a lot of my friends I have who are artists on big labels, some of them are not as worried day to day as I am, because I am involved in every process. So I think that's one of the benefits of being with a bigger label. You don't have to read all the emails of people saying, no thanks, your music sucks, which I do.
Oh God, no.
It's like sometimes reading like 10 of them a day, I'm like, you know?
Yeah.
But you have to, like, the rejection is part of it. And I think having a big label and them doing everything is just, you get protected a little bit from the harsh world of what it really is to be an artist.
Absolutely. Do you have any side hustles, or are you completely supporting yourself through music? And or what side hustles have you had before, if you're not doing any now?
I have had all the jobs in the world, more or less. I've been living on and off on music for 10 years, but last 4 or 5 years, I've been fortunate enough to not really do that much. Everything I do is music or related or creative. But I worked as a kindergarten teacher for 7 years while I was doing my music and recording my record. When I lived in New York, I worked bars, and I was a bartender, and I was not a bartender. I was a manager and a hostess and all this stuff. I've been working with teaching or making music with kids, with something called Turning Tables in Denmark, which is an amazing project. Sometimes I do voiceovers for commercials, so a lot of like my side hustles now are small things that kind of is connected to music, that I still see as part of being a freelancer, and I don't feel like I'm doing something right now that I wish I shouldn't spend my time on. You know, like if you really have like that, like a bar job or something, I think that's right. It takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of focus away from actually getting to do what you want to do. So right now I don't have that, but it's Corona times. Maybe in 2 months I will. I don't know.
Right. Let's talk about Corona times, because music is one of the industries that has been really hit hard. Well, all artists basically. How has it affected you personally? How do you see it affecting the industry? How are you handling it?
I think for now, I've been okay personally. I've had my days of darkness and being scared, and I think this is going to sound horrible, but I really don't think we met the consequence yet. And I'm sorry to be a downer, but I, like, in Denmark anyways, we got some help from the government, and we like that money can last you a little while. When that runs out and the economy is fucked, that is when I'm going to be really worried. I think we're all trying to figure out how to restructure our career and figuring out how to find money in different ways. And everybody right now I can see online is just doing tons of different things just to see what works. And I think that's actually really good. Just figure out what's your thing. Like some people do live streaming concerts. Some people sit on the streets and do small concerts. And personally, I'm doing building more on my brand and on recording and creating something that might make me money later. But if I don't know, I think the winter for me, usually I'm on tour all summer and I live off the money I make on tour all winter to do my creative projects and record and stuff. And now that saving I don't have. So my winter is kind of going to be a little interesting.
Yeah. How does so without tours, now tours being canceled, what are the ways that musicians and artists are making money?
I think a lot of people are definitely, merch is one of the things that I can see. A lot of people are producing more merch. Um, and brand collaboration is also starting to happen again. It kind of stopped with everything, but I see a lot of brand collaborations as well. And I think definitely a lot of the venues are going to do live streaming in
Mhm.
some aspects. So there's going to be some people that can still do shows, and I know a lot of people are still touring, but it's smaller things. But I feel like that is kind of for the people who already had built enough to be in that little 5%. So I'm not in that personally. I'm not in that 5% right now. So it's like a very little handful of artists and musicians that are doing a lot of the gigs, and then there's a lot of people who were about to build a tour, about to release their first album, who may have to wait a couple years for their opportunity again. But I think, I don't know, like I think besides the streaming shows and creating some content that has some kind of value that you can make money online, I think it is going to be a lot of people going to find a side hustle again, to be honest, in the creative world. And I already see a lot of people asking for, like, figuring out how to find a little job on the side or something, because it's already really hard to make money, and this is definitely not making it easier as an
Right.
artist.
That's my next question. You've been in different parts and aspects of the industry with big artists and independent artists. So even before Corona, like streaming, I think people don't really understand how little money streaming makes unless you're a huge artist. So you've seen the progression kind of from people actually buying records
Yeah,
and what it's come to. How has that changed in your eyes?
I think I actually I wasn't writing too much earlier, so I didn't unfortunately wasn't on the wave of making a lot of money when there was money in the music industry. But what I see now is that I I I see my own, the way I live. I live very sparse to be able to do what I do, and I do a lot of different things at the same time. And I've had some songs get streamed okay. I'm not like still super underground. But the money I get from that is not even a month of rent, like. So sometimes what I still find is that I look at other artists that I feel like, oh, you guys, you're doing great. Like, I can see you everywhere. I see your streaming numbers look great. And I figure out that they're actually really having a hard time to survive. And I think
Right.
that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that they can look at their successful artists that they think are dope, and they're walking around in the right clothes, that they get sponsored and
Mhm.
and everything, and doing big shows, but they're actually not making any money. Like, it's not really. And if they're on a big label, there's probably expensive videos and there's everything, so you don't see any of the streaming money because it's so little. You have to stream so much. If you then have a budget for PR, all that stuff, it's so hard to make a living. So even like when I was in LA the last time, I was working with some pretty big producers, and all of them had a side hustle. The moment they make that big hit, they invested in something else. And that's, like, I think it's just like the smart way to go. It's like, if you ever make any money in the music industry, make sure you take that money and put them in something that has more value.
Invest it. That is
Yes.
such great advice. And
Yeah.
across the board, I think in creative industries, I mean, I remember living in LA and working at a restaurant, and the hostess, who was getting paid, $15 an hour, had like 300,000 followers on YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram. And she has actually now started an OnlyFans and completely changed her life. Now I see her buying like Cartier and
What?
Rolexes because she's converting those numbers to paying subscribers. which is what I'm trying to get everyone across all industries to do. I think and Cardi B just started an OnlyFans.
Really?
Well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for behind the scenes clips of WAP and more exclusive content. And she's charging $5, but the woman has 72 million Instagram followers. So
yeah,
I mean,
so those $5 can turn into a lot of money. So
yeah, I think that's great to see the way that people are starting to kind of cut out the middleman and just create these ways of making money from their followings themselves. So we got to get you. We need you on an OnlyFans.
I gotta just figure out what I'm gonna do because but I think definitely ownership is the way to go right now, because like I even see when I'm releasing music with my friends who might also own bigger labels or have better connections, a lot of the time they think releasing on my label is a better idea because we can keep more of the money ourselves and we can own more of the things we do. And I think just like ownership is just like the way to go now, because if you don't own anything, you don't have anything that can grow into value, So
absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now? What are you have so many projects every time I see you.
It's crazy. And I get a little stressed out because I'm trying to do so much, but I feel like it's also a blessing to be able to work creatively on so many different things, because one of the reasons I think that I never really found my way in the industry and had to find like create my own way is that I'm a combination of so many things. So every time I did like some pop stuff, like I'm really sick of it really fast. And I was like, oh, I hate pop. I need to do something underground. Then I did something underground. I was like, oh, I just missed some good melodies. And I was like, I need some simplicity. And, and then I was like doing something else. And now that I am in this position, I can actually do all these different projects. And I have one day doing pop music, one day doing jazz, one day doing office work and being introverted and not talking to people, and just so I have my own project, which is Kinck, my last name. I'm closing actually 2 EPs that I want to come out this fall. So I have a photo shoot tomorrow to get the cover going, and then I'm closing that release. And then I started producing, and my first single as a producer, and my producer alias is Big Spoon. On Instagram, it's Big Spoon Beats. I have my first song that I'm finishing this week. I'm making cover art today, because that's also like a super low budget project that I'm doing, because I just started and I was like, okay, I was just practicing producing, and then I was like, this is actually super chill, and I actually would listen to this on a Sunday. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna release it and then make some more. And then I have a band called The Blaze, which is more up tempo pop with like some soul in it. We're working on a couple of new singles. Then I have 3 songs on my friend Sarah DeCourcy, who's a film composer in LA. She's releasing under the name Neo, and I have 3 songs on her album that's coming out this August. And then I have Sad Unicorn merch in production, and so I'm working on the website that I don't have yet, and I'm getting a new logo and all this visual thing too. So it's like 100 things I'm doing.
Yeah. Right now. How do you block out your days? Like, do you have some kind of system for like, today it's Sad Unicorn, tomorrow?
I wish when you said that, I was like, oh damn, I need that. Yeah, I do need more structure, but I was in a weird time where I started doing everything that was not on my to-do list, and I got very stressed out, and I was just filling my time, staying busy with things that I actually didn't need to do. And I think it was just I think we all do this sometimes when you have to take a big leap and you're not really ready for it. And getting the merch into production was very scary for me, because it's cost a lot of money, and I was like, okay, I need to figure out how to sell this too, and who's going to buy it and all this
Right,
stuff.
marketing.
So I usually do to-do lists every day, and I write 5 things that I just need to do. And I don't always keep them, but I'm really practicing just focusing on those 5 things. And instead of thinking about that I have to work a certain amount of hours, or I have to do, like, it's not about time, but it's about getting the stuff on the list done. And then when it's done, I don't have to work anymore. And what I find is that when I keep my promises to myself, I work less hours, and everything started going faster because I get more stuff done of the things that I actually need to do.
That's so true. We spend so much time panicking about the stuff we're not getting done. At least me, and I've been like that since, school. I've been like that since high school. Like, I would spend all day panicking about math homework and writing reports instead of just doing it. And then yeah, absolutely. Well,
yeah, I think it's all about actually being very mindful about your business flow. If you spend time thinking on something, not working on it, that's the first thing you need to do, because you're actually spending more time. And this is always a problem with freelancers, that I do this myself. This is something I'm trying to learn as well. But if I don't get the stuff done on my list, when I think I'm relaxing, watching TV or whatever I'm doing, my mind is still working, because
your time is money.
Exactly.
When you're freelance.
So it's like get the stuff done that's on your list, because if your mind is still working, like you don't have the free time that you think, like, oh, I only work 4 hours a day. But if you're still in a creative process when you're not working, you're actually still working.
Exactly. That is so true. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to let you get to that to-do list. Go make that cover art, and I will tune in on, is it the Copenhagen Pride stream that you're doing on Saturday? Is that worldwide? Can people watch?
That is, you can go to the Copenhagen Pride Facebook account, and there's a streaming link, and it will be streaming, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be online for a while. So if your time zone is different, you can always go the day after and look at it. But I am singing my first song in Danish. I wrote in a while with this amazing producer and DJ called Rosa Lux. So we are performing that song for Copenhagen Pride Saturday on their Facebook. Yes.
Amazing. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to tune in, and I will let you know when this is live on the site.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. You're the best.
You're the best.
Love talking to you. And
so awesome.
Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.